I want to explain to you how to use these video tutorials. There is a flow and a sequence to these video tutorials that I think it's very important for you to follow, because all of the information is going to progress from one form to the next. And every form is going to ask you what your name and what your address is, okay? There are issues around name and address. What does that actually mean? And so I'm going to cover that early on in one of the first forms that we deal with. And then I won't be covering it down the road with the other forms. So it's important for you then to start from the beginning and go all the way through. Now these forms, the progression, are going to start like this. We're going to start with a fiancé visa form, the I-129F. And that is going to be used for someone who's got a girlfriend or boyfriend in a foreign country and they actually want to come into the United States. From there, we're going to also present an I-130, a petition for an alien relative form. Now that form is used after someone's been married, but they have not come in as a fiancé. They've come in as a tourist, they've come in as a student, they've come in as a professional worker. That marriage visa petition is going to be a separate form that we're going to deal with. And then after we go through those two forms, we're going to come into the series of forms that are going to be used for either a fiancé or a marriage-based petition. And those will be the I-485. That is the form to adjust status. That is how you get your green card. That is how you get permanent residency in the United States. From there, we're going to go to the next form, which is going to be the work authorization form, the I-765. We'll also cover after that the G-325A, which is a biographic information form, which asks basic information about your work history and where you've been living to do background checks on you. Then we will go to the I-131, which is a travel document application. After that, we will go into the I-864, which is the affidavit of support. And that's the form that you use to show that you actually have enough money to reimburse the government if that immigrant ever takes welfare. And that's a very important consideration. So after we go through the basic forms, then we're going to go into some issue videos. And these issue videos are going to go in depth on an issue that is going to be coming up for a lot of you out there. The first one is going to be a marriage issue video, and that's going to talk about what kind of marriages are recognized by the United States government, what are not recognized, the different kind of documents you need for that, and also issues around divorce. What is an appropriate divorce to show that you are able to marry right now. And we'll also go into some of the good faith marriage issues. What is a good faith marriage? How do you prove a good faith marriage? So we'll go into that more. Then we're also going to go into children's issues, because you're going to want to, in many cases, also file applications for children of the immigrants. And that is a very complicated process, and it's totally separate. So we're going to have a complete separate video on the children's issues. And that's also going to cover adoptions and orphans and aging out and different issues around children's applications that can be problematic. Then we're going to go into a video that talks about illegal entry and unlawful presence, because every day I get calls from people, my husband, my wife have overstayed their visa. Can we get them a green card? The answer is yes, you definitely can. But there's a lot of issues around that. And this video is going to go into that, as well as illegal entry. Because let's face it, folks, a lot of people are here illegally and they have the right to get permanent residency in the United States. But there's a lot of confusion and a lot of specific rules around that, and we're going to dive into that. And then finally, we're also going to go into a video on criminal issues and bad moral character, because the immigration laws, again, are set up to keep people out of the United States. And one of the people that they like to keep out the quickest, the most, are people who have criminal histories. But there are a lot of exceptions around that, and there's a lot of misinformation out there about what kind of crimes will prevent you from coming into the United States and which ones will not prevent you from coming into the United States. Because the bottom line is there are a lot of, there's a lot of compassion, there's a lot of leniency built into the immigration laws. And so I want to present that information to you so that you can actually feel good about moving forward with your green card. But again, you need to understand that as you're going into these different issues, if you really feel that there's a criminal issue that's going to hold you back, you absolutely need to call an attorney. Same thing with the children's issues. If you're doing an adoption, you're not sure what's going on, call an immigration attorney. And if you have a weird thing where you've been married to more than one person at the same time, I mean, you've got to talk to an immigration attorney about those types of complexities, because that is way beyond the scope of a non-attorney to fill out their forms and get that one right. And so again, it's very important that you prepare the forms following these tutorials in the way that the tutorials are presented to you. So start at the beginning and go all the way through to the end, and that's going to give you the best opportunity to prepare forms that look good and are well documented, and they're going to get you the green card that you so richly deserve.